Hi everyone, and welcome to the second part of this Pokemon SoulSilver hardcore Nuzlocke using only flying types. In last video, we traveled through Johto, where we lost 4 team members. We lost Skiploom, Golbat, Pidgeot and Pharaoh. The last two were lost against Claire, but after Claire, we didn't lose anyone anymore. We easily walked through the Elite Four with some help from Apple the Gyarados, and went through without any deaths. But after beating the Elite Four, we can continue our journey. We start off by going to Professor Elm, who gives us a boat ticket. With this ticket, we can make our way to Overleveling City and board the boat to Kanto. We first have a brief talk with Professor Oak here, but we quickly go aboard. While boarding, we're run over by this man who lost his daughter, so we need to go on a little hide and seek quest. Eventually, we bring the girl back, and as we do, the boat arrives in Vermilion City. Vermilion City looks great, but I'm not looking forward to the gym here. Surge and his electric types will be scary, so with that in mind, as well as Surge's level cap, it makes more sense to go to Fuchsia City first. Here's Janine and her poison types, capped at level 50. Janine opens with a Crobat and we lead with Strawberry. Crobat hits a wing attack and we land an extra sensory. It does little damage, so I swap into Plum. He resists basically all of Crobat's moves. Crobat does confuse us, causing us to hit ourselves 2 times in a row. Third time we do hit an air slash for nice damage, and next one takes it in low red. Again, the leaving things on the sliver trend continues in Kanto. Plum is running really low on health, so I switch into Kiwi. He swaps into a pretty hard hitting wing attack and we hit an extra sensory. Next turn I hit another extra sensory as Crobat takes us to 9 HP. Crobat is almost down, but we need to switch. I bring an apple and Waterfall takes it out. In comes Weezing, who is hit below half with Waterfall. And he also flinches, so we can take him out with the next one. The incoming Ariados is also hit hard by Waterfall and the second one takes it out. The same goes for a second Ariados, who also goes down to 2 Waterfalls. Lastly is Venomoth, who sets up a double team. Waterfall takes it into the low yellow, but the next one takes it out. Apple is insane, even without setup moves he can still sweep. But with that, Janine is down, and after beating Janine I took a little detour to wake up the Snorlax. But, like a true hero, I quickly run away from it. After Janine, it's time for the next lowest level cap leader, and sadly, that's Surge. I don't have anyone that resists electric moves, so this is going to be tough. I start the battle with Coconut, as Surge sent out Raichu. The frustrating thing about this Raichu is that he uses a lot of double teams, which is why I led with Coconut. First turn, I set up a sword stance, and I go for Slash. We miss, and we also get paralyzed. Damn it. I go for another slash and we hit, once again leaving it on a sliver. I know he will heal, and with 2 double teams up it is best to go for aerial ace, but we get paralyzed. Shockwave then nearly takes us out as we hit aerial ace for a little under half. Next turn Raichu throws by using quick attack, leaving us at exactly 1 HP. Aerial ace then manages to take it out. In comes Electrode, and I'm very sorry Coconut, but I cannot switch into anything. I click slash, but obviously Electrode outspeeds and he takes out Coconut. I bring in Strawberry, who is actually very bulky, and set up a Wish. Electrode uses double team and another one next turn. We hit extra sensory, but this is going to be a long ride. He then sets up a light screen, so I decided to yawn it. Shockwave then does about the third as we hit another extra sensory. With Electrode asleep, I set up a Wish, but he wakes up right after. I then miss my yawn, but luckily the Wish comes through, healing us up. I go for another yawn and then a Wish, leaving us at 10 HP, but Electrode is asleep. I then use extra sensory and take it into the red and set up another Wish. Next extra sensory takes it out and in comes another Electrode. I yawn it as he sets up 2 double teams and then we use extra sensories. We miss every single one of them though, and the stupid ball wakes up. I yawn it again as he sets up even more double teams. So what comes next is a very tedious grind of putting Electrode to sleep and spamming extra sensory, all the way until it goes down. Eventually we do hit 3 extra sensories and we take it out. In comes Electabuzz and I hit a yawn. I know there's a Magneton in the back, and just like against Jasmine in Johto, I need Apple for that. I set up a Wish just in case and also hit an extra sensory for pitiful damage. I then put it back to sleep and it's time to go into Apple. I set up a substitute and then a Dragon Dance. Waterfall then takes out the Electabuzz, but Static activates, paralyzing us. Magneton comes in and hits a Shockwave, taking away our sub, but luckily we break through and hit a Waterfall for the Oko. It was a rather tedious battle, but we won with only 1 casualty. Rest in peace Coconut, you will be missed. After losing Coconut, I fly back to Johto and make my way to the ruins of Alph. Here I can catch a Natu, who I named Grapefruit, and I can also use Rock Smash here to find the old Ember. It took some time, but we found it. And with our fossil in hand, I fly to Pewter City to have it revived. Welcome to the Team Orange. As per level cap, Brock and Misty are up next. Brock has rock types, so I want to do Misty first. To do that, we first need to interrupt her date, after which the guy just runs away. Anyway, against Misty, I lead with Cherry and use U-turn. This does a quarter damage and I go into Apple. With Apple, I use Waterfall, but Golduck disables it. I then go for a Dragon's Dance and then another, and then a substitute. Next Waterfall takes it out and in comes Lapras. Waterfall does just under half as Lapras goes for Sting. We eventually take Lapras into the healing range, so I can set up another Dragon Dance. This ensures a 2-shot with Waterfall, but Lapras does break this up. We take it out and in comes Starmie. I set up another substitute as Starmie uses Ice Beam. I hit a Waterfall for over half damage and next turn we can take it out. Our sub is broken though and in comes Quagsire. I stupidly click Waterfall even though I know Quagsire is Water Absorb, but we stay unpunished as he just uses Amnesia. I switch into Kiwi and go for Hypnosis. I miss the first, but the second one hits. I then hit a Fly, but it does little damage. Air Slash does even less and Quagsire wakes up. I put it right back to sleep and use Fly. Quagsire once again wakes up, so we put it right back to sleep again. Fly almost takes it out, but we once again leave it on the sliver. This triggers Misty to use a full restore, so we're back at square one. I hit 2 extra sensories and put the Quag back to sleep. The first Fly actually hits a crit, so Quag is nearly down, but Misty has another full restore. I use an extra sensory and Fly combo and then put it to sleep once more. Once again we go back to spamming Fly and after 2 we leave it on the sliver for the 3rd time. We're now also confused by Water Pulse and we hit ourselves, leaving us at 20 HP. I swap into Cherry and a Slash finally takes it out. This was a pretty easy battle, but it did take a while. Next up is Brock, but despite him being a rock type gym leader, we have some counters. We got Apple of course, but Plum and his Steel type is also going to be really useful. So I start the battle with Plum against his Graveler. I go for Steel Wing, which is an easy 2-shot. Graveler just went for a defense scroll, but the second Steel Wing just takes it out. In comes Rhyhorn, so I can just use another Steel Wing. Rhyhorn is also a simple 2-shot and in comes Almastar. He goes for Protect first turn and then it's a hard Brine. Steel Wing doesn't do much, so I go for one more, but then I switch out. I bring in Strawberry and hit a Yawn as we're left on 17 HP. This forces me into an Apple switch and I think you know what's about to happen next. I set up a substitute and 2 Dragon Dances, and from here I use Waterfall to take out Almastar, and the next Kabutops also goes down. Lastly is Onyx, who also just goes down to Waterfall, winning us this battle. After beating Brock, I do some grinding to get Orange up to the level cap. Sabrina is next and her level cap is 55. Accidentally, I forgot to heal my team before battling Sabrina, so we go in damage and with only a few PPs left. I lead with Orange and use Crunch. I only have 5 Crunch PP left, but we hit a crit, which takes out the Espeon. In comes Mr. Mime, and we use another Crunch for 75% damage. Next Crunch takes it out, and lastly is Alakazam. One Crunch barely misses out on the kill, but luckily she has a berry to take it out of the heal range. Alakazam just uses Reflect, so our final Crunch PP takes it out. Despite going in damage, we still swept with a single Mon without any setup moves. Suck it, Sabrina. After Sabrina, it's time to take on Erika with her grass types. I'm not particularly worried here. By the way, I have Coconut in my party because I taught him Cut. He's dead, so I won't use him, but he's now used for HM purposes. I open with Kiwi against her Jumpluff. I go for a Fly as Jumpluff went for Leech Seed. We hit hard, but Jumpluff's next Leech Seed does hit. Air Slash then takes it out, but since we're seeded, I want to switch. Against Tangela, I go into Cherry. I switch into a crit ring out, nearly taking us out, so I just U-turn right back into Plum. Air Slash takes out the Tangela and in comes Blossom. Air Slash does just under half as Blossom sets up the sun. Solar Beam doesn't do much though as we hit another Air Slash. Due to her berry, she's not healed, so next Air Slash takes it out. Lastly is Victory Bell and Air Slash does about 75% damage. We're now low on health, so I switch into Kiwi. She finishes the Victory Bell off with an Air Slash, winning us this battle. After beating Erika, I needed someone to use Surf with, so Cherry is temporarily boxed. Against Blaine, I once again lead with Apple against his Macargo. I set up a substitute and then 2 Dragon Dances. Macargo then breaks his sub, so it's time to attack. Waterfall kills it, obviously, and in comes Magmar. He too goes down to a Waterfall, but he does burn me with Flame Body. Not that it mattered, because Rapidash also goes down to a Waterfall. Blaine's always easy, but with an overpowered Gyarados, he's even easier. We then talk to Blue, the last gym leader we need to beat. I went in underleveled at Blaine, so I first need to do some grinding. Luckily, this time Blue won't be as difficult as with our ground types. Against Blue, I lead with Cherry, who now knows Bug Buzz. This of course destroys the Executor and in comes Arcanine. I bring in Orange and hit an Ancient Power. It does way less than I thought, but with the Flare Blitz recoil damage, another one takes it out. In comes Gyarados, so I bring in Plum. I use Slash as Gyarados sets up a Dragon Dance. Next turn he sets up another Dragon Dance as we hit an Air Slash. After that a third Dragon Dance is up and we hit yet another Air Slash. This is looking scary and I don't want to take any risks. Gyarados then hits a crit Waterfall which takes out Plum. We're in a pretty tough spot, this Gyarados is at +3 and I don't want to take any risks. So I decide to bring in my own Gyarados and I go for Ice Fang. We're hit by a return for half damage, but Ice Fang luckily takes it out. The incoming Rhydon catches a Waterfall and the same goes for Machamp. Machamp lives one but gets flinched, so he goes down next turn. This leaves just Pidgeot, who's hit for over half by Ice Fang. Ice Fang also manages to freeze it, so he can easily take it out the next turn with another Ice Fang. We did miss the first one though, but the next one lands, winning us our final gym badge. Now that we're done with all the gym leaders, we only need to face Red. And to reach Red, we need someone who can use Rock Climb, and sadly none of my flyers can. So we need to go to the top of Mount Silver with only 5 Pokemons. Plum just died, so instead of picking up a replacement, I pick up a Geodude and I teach it Rock Climb. That does mean that we face Red with only 5 months, but it should be doable. Against Red I open with Orange. A single Rock Slide takes out the Pikachu. And in comes Lapras. Against Lapras I once again go for a super effective Rock Slide, but we don't get a crit or a flinch, so Lapras takes out Orange with a single Blizzard. I bring in Cherry and hit an Ancient Power, which barely misses the kill. We do get a boost and Blizzard does good damage to us. Lapras is then healed to full as we hit another Ancient Power. We do over half and by some miracle we get another boost. We then use one more to kill the Lapras and my god, yet another boost. This is insane, 3 Omni boosts in a row. So with +3 on all stats, I decided to stay in and hit the incoming Charizard with Ancient Power. This of course one shot, but sadly no more boosts. Because I'm Scarfed, I go for the last Ancient Power against the Snorlax, but it doesn't do that much. He then takes it out with Blizzard. Rest in peace Cherry, you were with us for a very long time. I bring in Apple and set up a Dragon's Dance. Since Blizzard does next to nothing, I set up another and then hit a Waterfall to take out Snorlax. Venusaur then goes down to a single Ice Fang and lastly is Blastoise. We go for Waterfall, but it does just under half. Blizzard takes us into the red, but knowing another Waterfall plus the heal damage will take out Blastoise, I go for Waterfall. Blizzard does take out our MVP Apple, but heal takes care of the Blastoise, winning us the battle, as we still have Strawberry and Kiwi left. I got to admit, having a Gyarados makes certain fights a lot easier. Still, the other team members pulled their weight. Strawberry did great against Surge, Orange sweeped Sabrina, and Plum and Kiwi did a lot of work too. Obviously, the triple Omni boost from Cherry was just insane as well. Overall, I had a lot of fun. Although this was a slightly easier run, I still had to do some strategizing, and thanks to the large encounter pool, you weren't punished too hard for making a bad decision. It also allowed me to use some rather bad Pokemon such as Ledian and Farfetch'd. Overall, this was a lot of fun and I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.